Mr. Mash. We're recording, and I don't have any notes for an episode. What are we gonna do?
I'm feeling awful sick to my stomach.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I think I might nerd vomit.
It's almost as if my stomach is full of comic books and action figures and movie trailers, and now I'm gonna puke it all up on the internet. This is Mr. Bangers, aka Zack.
This is Mr. Mash, aka JD.
We don't have a topic today. We're just talking about stuff. This is Nerd Vomit.
Nerd Vomit. Part Duh. I have one thing I want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Injustice.
Okay, talk about Injustice.
Because this is the perfect time to talk about it.
Talk about Injustice.
It's awesome.
Alright.
Injustice Gods Among Us, the video game, that's DC Universe fighting game made by the guys that made Mortal Kombat. It is amazingly awesome. I even got Zack to play it, and I think he thoroughly enjoyed it.
I did have a good time, yes.
Aquaman is a badass. Somebody gave him the respect he deserved.
Aquaman has been getting a makeover in the media over the last couple of years. It's been coming for a long time. I think Aquaman is finally getting some respect as a character.
Well, what it is Ed Boon is a big Aquaman fan. He's a big Flash fan and a big Aquaman fan.
Is that why Flash is so damn cheap?
That's why Flash is so damn cheap.
Okay. That's why Aquaman's so cheap.
And I think he's actually a Green Arrow fan. Apparently those exist. That's why they're the three best characters in the game.
Green Arrow?
Yeah, he's so cheap.
I know you can whittle away at your life bar with those stupid arrows.
You can turn him into fire arrows and ice arrows and lightning
punching
arrows.
Bag arrows?
No.
No punching?
No punching bag arrows, I know. Missed a great opportunity there.
I'm disappointed.
Combo system with him is ridiculously cheap.
Really?
There's a combo that you can link together with his super that does a 48% damage. Half your fucking life bar.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's somebody that's not a professional gamer to figure that out.
Well, there's a story behind Injustice, right? I mean, I know it's a fighting game, so the story isn't important. An alternate universe, DC Earth, where bad things have happened. Something went wrong.
Basically what happens, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't played the story mode yet.
Not that anybody really cares.
Not that anybody's even going to listen to this, but spoiler alert, what happens is Joker laces Scarecrow's fear toxin with kryptonite. That gets into Superman's bloodstream, and then he envisions Lois, who is pregnant with his unborn child, as Doomsday. He's trying to kill Doomsday because he thinks Doomsday did something to Lois.
Alternate universe Earth, Lois is always getting shoved in the fridge.
Yes. Long story short, Superman gets tricked into killing Lois and his unborn child. The Joker's behind all this. He gets pissed off and kills that Earth's version of the Joker.
Okay.
Superman kills the Joker and then decides that criminals are too crazy to be left alive.
So Superman goes bad.
And then starts a new regime. He and Wonder Woman head this, and him and Wonder Woman are a couple. I hate it when they pair them.
I don't like Wonder Woman and Superman as a romantic couple. I really don't feel like there's any reason to do that.
It makes sense, but in the same way, it's not part of that character's characteristic.
Yeah, they keep doing that.
It makes sense on the power level, but it doesn't make sense on the emotional level.
Yeah, really, because Wonder Woman's like one of the few women that could probably actually take Superman.
Power-wise, it makes sense, but
personality-wise, that's Frank Miller level stuff. Literally.
Yeah, like a 2-year-old wrote that.
It's a good thing this is an alternate universe, because this sounds pretty fucked. And nobody cares about the story anyway, because it's a fighting game.
You know, the story has gotten good reviews.
Doesn't sound very good to me.
You would have to play it. Like, I can't explain it all. I mean, like, you would have to...
I don't really care about the story. It's a fighting game.
I know. Ooh, stories.
Now, I have nothing against video games having stories. Like, I think it's great. But in a fighting game, it's really not all that important. I mean, Street Fighter has a plot.
What is it?
I really didn't like the version of Raven in this game. We both talked about this.
Yeah, and I feel like they really missed an opportunity with her.
Yeah.
She is one of those speed characters and not a power character. She can't pick stuff up and throw it. Although, in my opinion, if you're going to do something with Raven that has telekinesis, why can't she use telekinesis to lift up cars and throw them at people?
Yeah.
Or, that makes sense to me.
It does make sense.
She's just a missed opportunity. It's the only real complaint that I have with any character in the game is Raven.
And some of the character choices are interesting, because you have all of Big 7, except for Martian Manhunter, because nobody cares about Martian Manhunter, apparently.
Well, Lobo's going to be in the game now. He's the first...
Oh, he's going to be DLC?
Yeah, he's the first DLC character.
Well, Lobo is a great choice for this kind of game.
And Harley Quinn Classic costume is going to be DLC, too.
Why do we have to pay for it? Okay, this is a bone of contention with me. Ever since Arkham Asylum, everybody's been putting Harley Quinn in new outfits. Harley Quinn's costumes are getting progressively sluttier. Her New 52 outfit, which people have not so affectionately named the Juggalo look, because that's exactly what it looks like. Arkham Asylum, where she was a slutty nurse. Arkham City, where she had a bra on.
No, she had a vest. Okay. It was a sleeveless vest.
And then in this, her two costumes...
tight leather pants.
In this, her two default costumes. Her first one, her panties are showing. And then her second one, she has thong straps that are visible. What, a skin-tight bodysuit isn't hot enough for you people? There's nothing wrong with Harley Quinn's classic design. A perfect design. It's sexy, but it's not not slutty. Those two concepts do not always go together, alright? That's just a minor complaint with Harley Quinn's classic costume is great. It's dignified but still attractive, which is important. More is not always more.
I agree. I like the classic better than anything else, although I happen to be a fan of the Arkham City costume.
I also don't like that Harley Quinn is being played up a lot as just as psychotic as the Joker. I guess that's fine because she's been written that way before, but
in my opinion, she's more psychotic.
I've always been under the impression that Harley Quinn was ultimately far more sane than the Joker is. In the comics, she eventually left the Joker because she realized this was a bad, abusive relationship she was in.
She went from being a psychiatrist to falling in love with the Joker, and then becoming crazy and kind of adapting the same motif as he did.
One of the things that's great about Harley Quinn as a character is she just fell in love with the wrong person. And who hasn't done that?
He has come damn near to killing her on multiple occasions, but she still comes running back to him, calling him Puddin', and it ain't because she's afraid for her life, it's because she's actually in love with the guy. To me, she's more psychotic, because she's at least as psychotic as the Joker.
I wouldn't call that psychotic.
Because she is just as able to kill a motherfucker as he is, and just as happy to do it as he is. Let's have to agree to disagree.
One of the things I was trying to get at a couple minutes ago, the character selection in this game is kind of interesting. Got most of the main heroes, up to and including Aquaman, and you have a lot of arch enemies of those characters, though Aquaman's rogues gallery is totally unrepresented.
Isn't Killer Frost?
No. That's what I'm getting at. Killer Frost, that's kind of an interesting choice. That's not a very well-known character.
I think Killer Frost is an Aquaman villain.
No, she isn't. Killer Frost is Firestorm's arch enemy.
I know in Young Justice, Aquaman and Aqualad fight her on a boat.
Well, that's because that was when all of the ice-themed villains came together for that one episode.
I'm just saying, maybe NetherRealm Studios watches Young Justice too, Zack.
Classically, Killer Frost is not an Aquaman villain. Superman, we've got Doomsday and Lex Luthor.
Right.
Batman's got Joker, Harley Quinn, and Bane.
Technically, Solomon Grundy.
Well, Solomon Grundy, yeah, but he started out as a Green Lantern villain, if you want to get technical. Wonder Woman has Ares, Green Lantern has Sinestro, and Solomon Grundy, if he counts. Are there any Flash villains in this game? There aren't.
Deathstroke.
Deathstroke is not...
he started out as a Flash villain.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure he fought the Teen Titans before he fought anybody else. Deathstroke has always been a Teen Titans villain, traditionally. The Teen Titans are covered with both Cyborg and Nightwing.
And Raven.
There aren't any Hawkman villains in there, but then again, who gives a shit? Yeah, Hawkgirl's there, but there aren't any...
There aren't any villains.
Really, the only Hawkman villain anybody knows is Gentleman Ghost, and these days most people associate him with Batman than anything else. Oh, speaking of which, there's going to be a Hawkman porno.
Really?
Really?
Let's keep talking about Injustice here. We gotta go down the character list, and that's going to go down a whole new...
A bit of a wider view of the DCU than we normally get in alternate media.
Yeah.
This is the first time Killer Frost has ever really been included. She's been in a couple cartoons.
Hero-wise, Cyborg, Raven, characters that I weren't really expecting to see.
Which is weird because the Teen Titans cartoon, the peak of its popularity, was very popular. Odd that they aren't included more when they probably should be. I'm glad that they weren't.
I'm hoping that DLC-wise we at least get Starfire, if not both Starfire and Beast Boy.
I don't really care about Beast Boy, but Starfire would be important.
Starfire's kind of a necessity. She's in one of those top 100 characters that people will think of.
If you're going to have Nightwing, you should probably have Starfire. Now, Cyborg's part of the Justice League now. He's the 7th member in the New 52.
Well, yeah.
I always thought he was kind of an odd choice. I think they did it because he's probably the most well-known black...
Should we talk about background characters? They aren't actually playable?
I know Martian Manhunter and... Is Darkseid the final boss?
No.
Who's the final boss?
Evil Superman.
I know Darkseid and Martian Manhunter all
Mr. Terrific's in there.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific is in there. Giganta and Atom Smasher are in the background. And in that same stage, there's a statue
of Orion.
Orion, yeah.
And
Stargirl. There's a statue of Stargirl in that stage.
Stargirl. Metallo, Metamorpho, Deadshot.
Metamorpho, really?
Yeah. Or not Metamorpho, Parasite, sorry.
Parasite, okay. I was going to say...
Purple guy.
I didn't remember Metamorpho.
Metamorpho. Actually, I think there's a statue of Metamorpho at the Hall of Justice.
That's awesome.
There's a Starro tech and a glass orb.
Starro should have been the final boss. Are there a bunch of Green Lantern cameos in the Green Lantern stage?
No, his end video, he goes up into space and you see Kilowog, Tomaré, and...
all the famous alien Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Who do you want to see in DLC? Aesthetically, I think Lobo fits in great, though, with this game.
They do a lot of Lobo things. Characterization-wise, it's awesome. The voice actor's great for him. Gameplay-wise, he doesn't have a lot of ranged attacks.
Well, we'll see. There are so many characters, though. How do you even pick? And I personally would love to see Power Girl, Zatanna, there's Black Lightning.
Rumored ones are Zatanna.
That would be great.
Power Girl is really likely because they did a poll before the game came out. Name a character that you would like to see in a game. There was a poll of female characters, and Power Girl came out on top. A lot of people are screaming out for Zatanna. Martian Manhunter is all but confirmed.
Why wasn't he in the game to start, is my question.
He would be an awesome character.
Why Green Arrow instead of Martian Manhunter? Really?
Yeah.
The designer of the game would have to be a Green Arrow fan, because why would you pick Green Arrow over Martian Manhunter?
Because of Arrow, the show Arrow.
Arrow is popular. As popular as anything on the CW is. Anyway, that's enough about Injustice.
Yeah, sorry.
I haven't actually bought it yet. I need to grab that and play it. Speaking of Arrow, it's a TV show a lot of people like and say is great television. People say there's a lot of great television out there right now, Jade.
I can't find any.
People say we are in a golden age of television. Shows like Mad Men, Breaking Bad,
Young Justice,
Son of Anarchy. In horror, there's a lot of horror shows, and this is because The Walking Dead is
talk about a huge disappointment. The Walking Dead.
I personally am not really a fan. I watched the first 7 episodes, couldn't get into it.
It's a soap opera with zombies.
The point is, it's incredibly popular, and this has started a lot of horror shows on other networks. You have Bates Motel on A&E. I watched the first episode. It was pretty meh. My problem with the show is the real question is how long until Norman Bates snaps? 1 season? 2 seasons? How much story can we really milk out of the prequel to Psycho? Really. But now on NBC, you've got Hannibal, which is actually getting pretty good reviews. People seem to like the show.
I saw a clip of it today, and it seems like any network television.
Yeah, it seems like a procedural cop show.
I'm done with cop shows.
The point I'm making is there's a lot of supposedly great television out there, and I am not watching any of it. I am watching a really, really shitty, horrible show. I'm kind of in love with it because it is so entertainingly bad. It comes on Destination America, which is a channel most people are probably not even aware that they get. Previously, it was the Green Network, which was such an enormous flop, they ended it after about 2 years. Most of the shows are about food, except for this one, which is called Monsters and Myths in America. Now, there are a lot of shows on cable that are about ghosts, the quote-unquote supernatural. The Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi, obviously. Finding Bigfoot has been a big hit for Animal Planet, even though that show seems to be more about rednecks hanging out in the woods than it is about finding Bigfoot. But Monsters and Myths in America, the whole premise of the show is it takes an area of our country, and it talks about, as you'd expect, monsters and myths in that area. On the list of shows that are on cable that are about cryptozoology, this ranks below Monster Quest, Fact or Faked, Lost Tapes, way down on the list of shows about the same subject resides Monsters and Myths in America. And then they interview people who have supposedly had encounters with something, whether it be a ghost or a monster.
Or a Mothman.
These people are usually toothless rednecks. The show is so melodramatic. It is so insanely melodramatic. These reenactments that are unsolved mystery level. But one of the things I love about the show is the fact that it takes things that are utterly, totally, completely mundane. They're not even things where you go, okay, I could see how that might have a supernatural explanation. They're things where you go, the normal, everyday explanation for this is obvious. They're looking for confirmation. They're looking at normal situations and seeing this as evidence of the existence of something unusual because they really want to believe it for whatever reason. The episode about the Ozarks, they talk about the Pope Lick Bridge monster. This is in Kentucky, and it's a goat man. It's very similar to the goat man that lives in Bridgesville, Maryland, which is about 2 hours up the road from us. But the Pope Lick monster is a goat man who lives on a train overpass bridge. Back in the 70s, the young brother of this family, this mother and an older sister, the young brother, went out with his friends looking for the Pope Lick monster. He climbed up on the bridge, and what happened is a train came across the bridge and killed the kid. Perfectly normal explanation, right? Mm-hmm. However, the sister and the mother are convinced that the Pope Lick monster did it. Somehow. Apparently the Pope Lick monster has the ability to manipulate trains. It's very sad that this young boy died. But the fact that his family is so convinced that a goat man did it, I don't know if it's even sadder. That makes it hilarious. I can't tell. Especially when they brought the sister up to the bridge. Her reaction was, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. This isn't good. I can't do this. I'm sorry. They did an episode about the, what was it, like the Bear Lake monster or something? This is in the Midwest somewhere. But it's a lake monster that's out there, supposedly. They're talking to this fisherman who claims to have seen the lake monster once or twice out there fishing. He saw something on his radar, a large shape on his radar, and then he claims to have saw something in the lake. Pretty normal lake monster sightings, right? Mm-hmm. He talked about how one day he was walking across the lake when it was frozen and iced over, and he fell through the lake into the water. Now, this is really just the story of somebody falling through the lake into the water and almost drowning, which is pretty captivating stuff on its own. However, they spin this totally unrelated story to have something to do with the supposed lake monster. The lake monster didn't grab the guy, the lake monster didn't attack him and pull him down, he simply fell through the ice, and yet this is somehow evident for the existence of the Bear Lake monster, whatever it is. The most recent episode I saw is about the bayou, the Louisiana bayou, and they talk about the Rougarou, which is some local boogeyman that a guy claims to have had an encounter with. The last half of the episode deals with vampires in New Orleans. This girl talks about how her and her friend went out drinking for a night, as you do. Quite a bit of pub crawling in the French district. And she claims that she encountered a man who was mysterious and had a very strange drawl over her. Almost a hypnotic drawl over her. And they were hanging out in a bar drinking, and then they went outside of the bar, and this guy grabbed her, and she describes it as very forceful, very powerful. He bit her neck. Oh no! Some random guy she met in a bar grabbed her and bit her neck. obviously he was a vampire, and not just a drunk guy that was a little too touchy and a little too bitey.
There are people who believe that they are vampires.
Those people are crazy.
They are. And most of them reside in New Orleans.
Well, the most ridiculous ones are the people who claim to be psychic vampires. They have to be around people and pull off their aura energy. Nutty stuff.
Okay, that's stupid.
If you're not dead, if you do not come back from the dead and have to feed on the blood of the living to survive, you're not a vampire, I'm sorry. Even if you're a living person who drinks blood, you're still not a vampire. You have to be dead. You have to be the undead. That's a qualification to be a vampire. You're going to have people claiming to be zombies now, even though they're not dead, because zombies are really insanely popular.
Well, you know, there was the...
Oh, that's right, there was the cannibal killer in Florida.
Yeah. Maybe that guy thought he was a vampire, and she was just drunk enough to fall into his delusion. Either way, there's a scientific explanation for that one, for sure.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And that's what makes the show hilarious. These people who claim to have encountered something unusual, when really it's something totally mundane, absolutely explainable, completely 100% normal. Either they're bullshitting the network, because they have a guy talk about an encounter with the black-eyed children. Now, we didn't talk about this on our Urban Legends episode. I've read the story of the black-eyed children about a guy in his car. These strange kids knock on his door. They're insisting on getting in the car with him. He's about to let them in when he realizes they have completely black eyes, and then he freaks out and drives off. I'd read that story for many years on the internet, always in the context of an urban legend. I'd never taken it any more seriously than I take The Hook or Bloody Mary. But now, there are people out there who claim to have had encounters with black-eyed children. There are sightings of black-eyed children. And now they really have joined the Parthenon of aliens and things, these supposed encounters. But they were interviewed, the guy who supposedly had the encounter with the children tapping on his car window. This guy's a journalist. And the way he told the story, I thought, this guy's full of shit. He's making this up. You could tell the way he was telling the story, this is something he made up. This was a joke he made up, and it's taken on a life of its own. Good for him, I guess. If you're looking for a laugh and really a badly done show, watch Monsters and Mysteries in America.
I had the gun ready to defend myself and my son against the monster.
This half man, half goat that lived out there on a pulp lick. He'd lure kids up on top of the track and then try and kill them.
All of a sudden, all the animals in the forest just started getting really, really, really loud. We were looking at each other like, what is going on here?
Something we just looked up on the internet. I found this on DeviantArt, for those who don't know, which is a very popular art website. It's not all porn, even though the title might suggest that, though a large percentage of it is.
There's a good bit of
weird shit on DeviantArt.
You know, there's stuff on DeviantArt that takes furries to a whole new level.
Every creepy fetish you can imagine. Anyway, there's a very popular artist on DeviantArt called, I believe I'm pronouncing this correctly, Ken Min Jin, who's done the series of Dark Knight Trilogy epilogue comics. I saw them the other night and thought they were actually pretty clever, and just showed them to JD. This person has found a way to incorporate a lot of the extended Batman family universe in with the realistic Nolan-verse. That's pretty well done.
Yes, it is.
Well, he's incorporated Huntress.
And Damian Wayne it's really the interesting one to me.
Okay.
The way that he pulled that one off.
Yeah, Huntress, Damian Wayne, Nightwing, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Mr. Freeze, a new Two-Face, Batgirl. He even has a little comic that shows pretty much the entirety of the extended Bat family. I'm not even that big of a fan of the Nolan-verse, and I think they're pretty well done. It makes me wish that Christopher Nolan would do something like that, even though it's never ever going to happen. But it is a pretty neat idea, I think.
The way that he did it, you could honestly see if they do a third trilogy, how they could possibly fit some of those characters in there.
So, JD, what are we doing tonight?
We are going to go see Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Which is the start of
the summer movie season. As we are recording this, I'm sure it won't be out for another 2 weeks, but we're recording this on May 2nd. Tonight is the release of Iron Man 3, which officially signals the start of summer movie season 2013.
Which we're super excited for.
There are some very exciting films coming out this summer. But it is a little odd that actually start the midnight showings at 9, as if they say we don't even care anymore. It's a Thursday evening, nobody else is going to come from the movie theater for any other reason. Just start showing the fucking movie.
Maybe Alamo has some kind of deal.
It's not just the Alamo. Other places are doing it.
Maybe they're thinking that not as many weirdos will come out and try to bomb the theater.
That might actually have something to do with it, considering what happened last summer. We're not going to talk about Iron Man 3 now, because after we see the movie, we're going to come back and do a little recap on it.
15-minute nerd vomit about Iron Man 3.
Just our general opinion on Iron Man 3. But we are going to talk a little bit more about some of the other things coming out this summer, because as we said earlier, it is a good summer. Next week there aren't any big releases. I mean, The Great Gatsby, I don't really think we're the audience there.
No.
But there is a horror movie coming out next week, Aftershock. And this is the new film from Eli Roth of Hostel and Cabin Fever fame. He only wrote it, he didn't direct it. It's not a traditional horror film, it's basically a survival movie. There's a giant earthquake, and society degrades from there.
Oh, okay.
Could be potentially interesting. Eli Roth is a very mixed presence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're never really sure. But May 17th is Star Trek Into Darkness, not Star Trek 2 Into Darkness, not Star Trek : Into Darkness, Star Trek Into Darkness. We're Star Trekking into darkness.
Have we figured out if it's on?
There was a premiere in Australia, I think, and there have been spoilers on the internet that claim he is Khan, supposedly. I don't know how legitimate these are. I'm a big Star Trek fan, but I am surprisingly uninterested in Into Darkness. I even liked the J.J. Abrams movies. It didn't have a whole lot to do with the traditional Star Trek universe.
But they're still tied together.
Yeah, I still enjoy it.
Me not being a Star Trek fan, I feel like I could enjoy that more than a hardcore Star Trek fan.
It was fine. I honestly had a pretty good time with it. Not a great film, but I enjoyed it. But this sequel, man, the trailers seem to go out of their way to disguise the fact that it's a Star Trek movie. I'm not a Benedict Cumberbatch fan. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch.
I'm not a fan of Benedict Cumberbatch. First off, his name is so English. I've never actually even seen Sherlock, but I am so sick of fangirls spamming my feed on Facebook and other nerd news websites that I'm sick of it without ever actually even seeing an episode of it. He might be a great actor for all I know. I don't know. I have no interest in him. If he is Khan, I think it's a bad idea. I don't think they should go back to Khan this early in the franchise. There's so much more you can do with Star Trek. Really apprehensive about Into Darkness. I'm going to go see it, because of course I'm going to go see it.
The Hangover Part III.
Yeah, Part III.
Part III.
I've never seen any of the Hangover movies.
First one was okay, but then the second one was, well, I've seen this already.
From my understanding, it's almost the exact same story.
Yeah, except for it takes place
in Bangkok instead of Vegas. I don't really like Bradley Cooper, even though I'm a huge Community fan. King Jong is annoying. And then Fast and the Furious 6. Can you believe they've made 6 of these movies?
Aren't they speculated to make even more?
Yeah, I think they're going to film 7 and 8 back to back.
Oh my God, do we need 8 Fast and the Furious movies?
I don't know if we do.
I don't even know if we need the first one.
I've never seen any of these either. I'm not a car guy. Supposedly, the franchise has really gotten a lot better since Part 4. Fast 5 was very well received. People said that was a great, dumb action movie, so I might see them eventually, but as of now, I have not seen any of them.
I've seen most of them. I haven't seen 2 and 3, really.
Okay.
But from what I hear, they're not very good anyway.
Yeah.
They're okay, but it's a car guy movie, and I'm not a car guy.
Well, they seem to be moving away from cars to more just general, over-the-top action.
But then doesn't that defeat the purpose of calling it a Fast and Furious movie?
Maybe it's the characters that are Fast and Furious, not their cars.
Well, those characters are Fast and Furious, and they probably don't have too many girlfriends.
Anyway, I'm not going to see any of those movies. What about Epic? Any interest in that?
There's some. To me, it looked like a high-grade Ferngully.
It looks like a CGI remake of Ferngully. It could be pretty good. It's interesting to see a CGI film that isn't a comedy, that's sort of an action-adventure movie. That's a rental for me, though. I'm not going to see that in the theaters.
Yeah, I'll watch it on Movies 2K. I mean, I will watch it on DVD when it comes out, and I rent it.
So what about After Earth? What are your thoughts on that? We've talked about this one a little bit on the show already.
I'm so done with Will Smith. And the fact that he's putting his brood out there and shoving them down our throats.
Really resent the fact that he's pushing Willow and Jaden on us.
Give it up.
After Earth, the trailers would not let you know that it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie. They seem to be disguising the fact that it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, as if they know that that's a kiss of death. It might be good, but it's a rental.
That's a movie that I'm going to watch when it comes out on DVD
and not steal off of the internet.
And not steal off the internet.
Okay, well, coming out on, where are we? What date? Okay, so we're still on the 31st, is The Purge. I think this is shaping up to be the big horror hit of the summer. And when I first read about it, I just thought it sounded like a ripoff of The Strangers or something. I saw the trailer before Evil Dead, and I actually was surprised at how good it looked.
The Purge looks promising.
Might actually go see that in the theater, even though
it's a home invasion film.
But it has that sci-fi angle to it that makes it different.
Would this be more post-utopian?
A utopia, except one night a year where it becomes a dystopia. Phantom Award-nominated actress Lena Headey is in this.
Oh, boy.
And coming out on the same day is a movie I'm looking forward to called The East, and this is a film that I've been reading about for a long time, and it's finally getting released. Mostly I want to see it because it's, again, Ellen Page playing a psycho. It's about this reporter that infiltrates this group of eco-terrorists and falls in love with the leader. I'm looking forward to this just as an Ellen Page fan. I do like Britt Marler. She's a very talented actress. So moving into June 14th, Man of Steel.
Oh, boy.
I was very cautious because the teaser trailer did nothing for me. Really bummed me out. The new trailer that just came out that actually has Superman being heroic and seems to be playing drawing up Superman as
A badass.
but as sort of a hopeful character. He's not a brooding, dark Zack Snyder hero. He actually is going to be Superman. We got to see lots of Amy Adams as Lois Lane, and she looks great. I'm really happy with Amy Adams as Lois Lane. Michael Shannon as Zod. Excited about that.
I mean, I still would have rather seen Gerard Butler.
Well, Gerard Butler would have been great, but Michael Shannon's a great actor.
He's a great actor. Kneel before Zod. It should have been Gerard Butler.
Supposedly, that line was not in the movie, but merchandise has started hitting t-shirts that have Zod's face on it and the phrase kneel. Kneel before Zod might still be in the movie. Obviously, we're looking forward to Man of Steel. That's a big movie for us.
Yes.
Monsters University, we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Kind of want to see it.
I'm going to go see it. I've seen all of the Pixar movies in the theater. The fact that Pixar is doing sequels now, it is discouraging, because for a long time they had a no sequel rule unless the story is really, really good, which was true for the Toy Story sequels, and then Cars 2 happened. We're not going to talk about World War Z.
Because it's stupid.
Byzantium is not only a vampire movie, but it's directed by Neil Jordan, who did Interview with a Vampire.
Oh, really? So does that mean it's going to be a good vampire movie?
Perhaps.
Are we going to get a good vampire movie?
I don't know.
I don't know if those exist anymore.
It's been a while since we had one, and it's got that Shiroshi Ronan. I'm not sure how you say that name. Hiroshi
Swarse?
I have no idea how to say that name. I like her. She's a good actor. Byzantium, yeah, that's an indie horror movie that might actually be worth looking out. July 5th, Lone Ranger. What are your thoughts on Lone Ranger?
I want to see more trailers.
The more I've seen this movie, I'm actually getting kind of excited for it. I like the Lone Ranger, and I'm just sort of looking forward to seeing him. The fact that so much of the marketing is around Johnny Depp as Tonto is kind of odd. We'll see about that.
The freaking eagle on his head. I mean,
The
it's
crow on
basically
his
a
head.
pirate hat.
I mean, it's the same director as the
It's
Pirate
literally
movies,
Jack Sparrow.
So clearly, the pirate films are the prototype here. July 12th, Pacific Rim.
OMG!
Before recording this, we watched the new trailer for Pacific Rim, the WonderCon trailer.
And oh my god.
Some good look at the monsters.
My god.
We've got like a Cloverfield-looking monster, and there's a
fucking
Rodan. Monsters getting hit in the face with battleships. Oh, man.
That's used as a samurai sword.
Ron Perlman dressed as a pimp.
It's Nerdgasmville. It's this year's Avengers.
For the nerds, it is. Whether or not the public response to Pacific Rim is going to be another question. Yeah, who cares about the public?
So I'm not talking about the public. I'm talking about the Avengers. How many people stood up and cheered throughout that movie?
It looks incredible.
Monster movie fans for this, and Evangelion fans, and Gundam fans. This caters to so many people.
I was reading about the synopsis for the third Evangelion movie.
Uh-huh.
They're really going off the rails. Apparently it's 14 years in the future. Everybody's a part of this terrorist league that's fighting against NERV, and there's been a third impact. Shinji's been inside of EVA Unit 1 for 13 years. None of the pilots have aged for some reason. So it sounds really, really different.
Which means we're probably going to love it.
And I loved the second one. The first one was disappointing, but EVA 2.0 was awesome. Any thoughts on Red 2?
Red 1 was entertaining.
It wasn't a great movie.
It wasn't a great movie, but it had entertaining moments.
It was a decent popcorn muncher.
Seems to me like Helen Mirren is the bad guy.
I know Anthony Hopkins is in it, which is kind of cool.
Does he play Hannibal and or Odin?
I don't think he plays either Hannibal nor Odin.
Well, then who gives a shit?
The Conjuring is very much attempting to be this year's Insidious. Same director, same actors, now obviously same sort of story. You seem more excited for this film than me.
I wasn't excited.
I had never heard of them. I didn't realize this was quote-unquote based on a true story.
Well, I don't know if it's based on a true story or not, but I know Ed and Lorraine Warren are a real ghost hunting group. They're husband and wife, and she's a psychic.
Claims to be a psychic.
Well, claims to be a psychic.
I'm so burnt out on ghost movies. Really tired.
Don't need it anymore. Unless it's Gentleman Ghost.
Okay, The Wolverine. Thoughts?
I'm on the fence. It looks a lot better than Origins.
They would have to suck like a black hole for it to be worse.
Yeah.
Origins was pretty bad. Apparently, the Silver Samurai is going to be a robot.
Hate it. I will not go see it.
What are you fucking saying? You're going to go see it.
Yeah, because you're going to drag me into it.
Any thoughts at all on 300 Rise of an Empire?
But they should call it 302.
Well, it's a prequel.
Well, then just call it 299.
Absolutely no interest in Rise of an Empire.
Yeah.
Not that big of a fan on 300 to begin with, and a sequel, prequel, no interest at all. Now, obviously, nobody from the first movie's returning.
I got burnt out on Greek
After
movies.
Wrath of the Titans.
Wrath of the Titans was just a shitstorm.
August 9th, Elysium. It's the same director as District 9.
Elysium.
Whatever. Elysium. In a lot of ways, it's being prepped up to be the big serious science fiction movie of this year. It's hard to get a B on it from the trailer, because the trailer makes it look really generic.
Zack and I were watching it, and we're like, oh, it looks like RoboCop, Universal Soldier.
It looks like Halo, like Iron Man. Neil Blomkamp is obviously a talented filmmaker, so I'm sure he'll come up with something interesting.
And Matt Damon's in it, which probably means I'll hate it, because the only Matt Damon movie I've ever liked is Dogma.
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Applesauce, bitch.
That doesn't... He wasn't a big part in that.
Any thoughts on Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters?
We're just now getting it?
No interest in that, sorry. August 16, Kick-Ass 2. I am shamefully excited for this movie, especially since it's probably going to be terrible. I'm surprised at how pumped I am for Kick-Ass 2.
I am probably going to see it with you.
I'm really looking forward to it. More Hit Girl, somehow more Nick Cage, I guess in a flashback. Jim Carrey as Stars and Stripes looks awesome. I gotta say, I'm really excited for Kick-Ass 2. Way more than I should, because it's probably gonna be terrible.
Christopher Mintz?
Yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plasse is back as the motherfucker.
Okay, that's McLovin.
That's McLovin, yeah, forever and always McLovin. The source comic is terrible, so the movie's probably gonna be terrible, but I can't help it. I'm excited. The World's End, August 23rd, The World's End, the new Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Edgar Wright movie.
I know, I want to see it.
Love Shaun of the Dead, love Hot Fuzz, really excited for The World's End.
I love Paul.
Your Next is intriguing. It's been touring the festivals for a couple of years now, and it was getting a lot of attention. This is from Adam Wardgard, who was one of the directors who worked on VHS. In between Your Next and The Purge, it seems like home invasion movies are coming back. I guess if these two films are successful, we're going to see a lot more of them, because that's how the horror trends go. It's going to be 2008 all over again with all these home invasion movies coming out. Oh, and that's it for summer.
Thor 2. I know it's holiday season, but
yeah, it's a November release.
But I'm counting it as the end of the...
Summer movie season's going to go on until November this year?
Yeah, because Thor 2 is a superhero movie, and it should definitely be considered a summer movie.
Even though it's not.
Even though it's not.
Well, let's talk about Thor 2. Clearly you're excited. The trailer's pretty exciting.
I mean, I'm, pumped up for that. Let's do this.
I wasn't really all that excited, but the trailer really got my attention. I love that last shot in the trailer. You must be so desperate.
Loki looks awesome again.
Much more of it's going to be set in Asgard, which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it looks darker than you first.
Well, considering the movie is called The Dark World. Star Trek Into Darkness, Thor, The Dark World. We're going to get the sequel to Darkness Falls this year. Darkness Falls again.
Well, no, they're going back to numbers now, so Darkness Falls to Niagara Dark.
Insidious Chapter 2, it's actually going to be called that, is coming out later this year. Chapter 2. A little awkward. That's an hour, so I think we're going to wrap it up for now and then report back later after we see Iron Man. What do you think about that, Mr. Mash?
I say amen, sister.
I'm cutting that out.
No, you're not.
Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with a heart of steel.
And Iron Man, all jets aflame, he fights and fights with the counter rays. Amazing armor,
Iron Man,
a blazing bomber.
That was incredibly disappointing.
Well, should we at least say what was incredibly disappointing, Zack?
We just got back from Iron Man 3, and...
wow.
I've got a lot of thoughts in my head about it.
We got a lot of beef.
First off, we are in the spoiler zone.
Spoiler alert.
All unwilling participants leave the vehicle now, though I'm sure by the time this goes up, it'll be 2 weeks after the fact, and everybody will have seen the movie anyway.
And hate it.
I didn't hate the movie. Some things about it I didn't like very much, though. I liked the little kid.
Yeah, the little kid was nice.
The whole relationship with Tony and the kid was very cute, very funny. The movie actually has a pretty decent first act. I don't know about Happy's injury motivating Tony for the rest of the film, or at least the first part of the film. What's your thoughts on the whole thing about him being traumatized from the events of the Avengers? Not completely unprecedented, since
it's not unprecedented.
Tony Stark is a character that has trouble, his emotional issues. I mean, that is part of his character.
But I think the way that they were playing it off as it not just being, hey, I had a near-death experience, guys, that would be traumatizing. But they didn't play it from that aspect. They played it from, oh, look out, there's gods and aliens in the universe.
Yeah.
And that blew his mind. I feel like Tony Stark would already have known.
I have a problem with that as well. Robert Downey Jr. plays it very funny. He's, of course, massively entertaining, likable guy. No problems there.
Yeah.
But I think the real issue we had with the film is the way that Mandarin was handled. I don't want to go into too much detail. This is as if they've made a new trilogy of Batman movies, and they're saving the Joker for the last movie. Oh man, the Joker's finally going to be in this movie. I can't wait to see Batman fight his arch enemy, the Joker. And then you watch the movie, and it's not really the Joker.
It's Calendar Man.
It's Calendar Man. Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. Let that stew over in your brains for a little bit, listeners. Not only is the Mandarin not really in the movie, they honestly make fun of him. At the start, it's very effective. They turn him into an Osama bin Laden-like character in a lot of ways.
Yeah, effective. He's really threatening.
He truly is genuinely intimidating. And then they just flush that all down the fucking toilet. It's all bullshit. Why, movie? Why are you toying with our emotions?
And then they go do some half-assed plot change with Guy Pearce, where he's the Mandarin.
There's a fake Mandarin, and it's bullshit. And that's not the only example of the movie fucking with our feelings. The film introduces a whole shitload of armors. Literally 47 new armors are in this movie. And then what does it do at the end of the film? Blow them all the fuck up.
All of them.
Every single fucking armor exploded. Pepper's dead. No, Pepper's not dead. Pepper has super strength. Tony is retired from Iron Man because he has the arc reactor's been taken out of his chest now. The film was written and directed by Shane Black, best known as the writer of Lethal Weapon, and he also wrote The Monster Squad, and there's elements of that in this film too, with the kids. But there are scenes in the latter half of the movie where Tony Stark and Rhodey are running around shooting people. It feels like Lethal Weapon. There's a weird sequence in the middle of the movie where Tony makes a bunch of gadgets and infiltrates an enemy base with shit he bought in a hardware store, and it's cool, but why is it in an Iron Man movie?
Why did he have to make a nail gun? Couldn't he just buy a nail gun?
I don't think it was a nail gun. I think it was some sort of tranquilizer dart thing. I mean, I'm not sure what that was. I don't know if he was really killing those guys or just knocking them out. There's some very entertaining moments in the film. All the action is pretty solid.
Yeah, very solid.
The entire monkeys in a barrel sequence, pretty exciting, well done. It's almost as if the film neuters Iron Man. They go out of its way to make an Iron Man movie without Iron Man in it.
There's an hour of movie where
he's not
you
in the
don't
suit.
even see Iron Man.
Yeah, it's like the adventures of Tony Stark. Okay, let's just get this straight. Classic Mandarin with the 10 rings, shooting lightning bolts and fireballs and ice beams out of his hands. That's too silly for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But Guy Pearce breathing fire out of his mouth like a goddamn fucking dragon? That's okay? The mastermind behind the plot changes about 3 times in this movie. Oh, it's the Mandarin. No, it's Killian, whatever his name is. And then there's a big reveal about who the... I don't know, I mean, if he's the funder, if he's involved with it, but it's an important character. The way it's handled is very awkward and very odd and doesn't really have a lot of explanation. I'm not exactly sure why it was in the movie.
Wasn't even an important character.
Yeah, he wasn't. A better made film than Iron Man 2, because Iron Man 2 was a sloppy, disconnected screenplay.
I would agree with that.
It's a better written film, but I just have so many problems with it, I'm massively disappointed. Summer of 2013 is off to a poor start if this is the precedence it's setting.
It's alright, Superman's going to make up for it.
I hope so.
The Extremist Army had glowing orange hands that were so hot to cut through anything. Why couldn't the Mandarin do that?
I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not even entirely sure what Guy Pearce's goal was at the end of the day. In cahoots with, well, I won't say who he's in cahoots with, but in cahoots with a major head of government within our country.
Just say the Vice President and get it over with. I'll say it.
In cahoots with the Vice President. The Vice President's daughter is missing a leg, so he's going to grow her a leg. I mean... What? I hate to say this, but G.I. Joe 2 is the most entertaining film I've seen in the theater so far this year. Scale of 1 to 10, where would you put Iron Man 3, JD?
7.
Really? A 7? A 7's good, dude.
I know.
A 7's almost a 10.
It was overall a good movie.
Even though it made you incredibly angry.
Even though it made me incredibly angry, but it was overall a good movie.
No, it's a 5, maybe a 6. Probably a 6. This probably evens out to a 6. There's a lot in the film I do like. It's a very entertaining movie. Of course, the cast is great. But there's just some really bewildering screenwriting decisions.
And sometimes it feels like it drags on a little bit.
Yeah, it does drag on a little. I'll agree with you there.
It was written by somebody that didn't know Iron Man.
As soon as the movie was over, I said to JD, this feels like an Iron Man movie that was written by somebody who isn't an Iron Man fan.
How can you fuck up an arch villain? Why would you do that?
Well, let's hope not only the rest of the summer clears up, but the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 2.
I'm hopeful for Thor 2. It looks really good.
Well, that's it for the Bangers and Mash show for this installment, the 17th episode. If you, too, want to talk about how massively, incredibly disappointed you were in Iron Man 3, email us at bangersandmash88@yahoo.com. If you want to like us on Facebook, feel free to. You can, in fact, do those things.
Let us know that you're listening and you care.
Feedback's appreciated. This is Mr. Bangers, a.k.a. Zack, signing off, going to bed, very disappointed.
This is Mr. Mash, going home, very disappointed.
And we'll see you guys again soon.